question relates to some of the complications which we associate to, say, I think it's a mixture of questions which addresses issues of both air or noise pollution and water pollution. Let's look at the question to know what we are supposed to get out as an answer. Increased air pollution in cities has incidences of disorders like suppose we imagine a city which has a lot of air pollution all the time. People are exposed to some type of air pollution or the other all the time. So, what are the diseases which we can see that they are higher in number or incidences in such a place? So, the choices given are diarrhea, chikungunya and dengue, then respiratory allergic disorders, typhoid and amoebiasis. Now, if we know a little bit about other diseases and how they spread out, for example, whether they spread due to food contamination, water contamination, etc. So, we have this typhoid related to food and amoebiasis related to water, which is not very healthy. So, this choice is ruled out. We are talking only of air pollution here. Then we have diarrhea, again related to amoebiasis or commonly termed loose motion, again mainly due to water contamination, sometimes food contamination. We can rule this out. Then we have chikungunya and dengue spread by different species of mosquitoes, again for which breeding of mosquitoes water is required. So, if we have puddles of water around us, especially in the monsoon or rainy season, not looked after properly. So, we are not hygienic enough to see that we keep our places dry, devoid of standing water or stagnating water. So, diseases, that is chikungunya and dengue type, malaria too. So, this choice also is ruled out. So, increased air pollution, again which will have lot of dust or particulate matter essentially in cities, that is urban areas, will always be causing respiratory allergic disorders like we experience in many of the cities in our country. So, this is the right choice, students. Next question is like this, students. It's related to the again air pollution. Some serious incident which took place in our own country. It's a very important case study in the world today, which is referred to by many people to know the impacts of serious levels of air pollution, especially industrial accidents, what it can cause. So, the question goes like this: the chemical responsible for the famous Bhopal gas tragedy in our country, which took place on the night of 2nd, 3rd December 1984 is don't have anything to do, it is quite irrelevant, some mark which is not removed during editing. The choice is A. mercury salts, C. chlorofluorocarbons, C. radioactive emissions, and D. methyl isocyanate. This methyl isocyanate, I will tell you later, in short it is called, and if you remember that, it is very easy to not miss out on the correct answer for such a type of question. It is not mercury salts. Mercury is a very serious pollutant which can go into the air also directly. This is not a choice. Chlorofluorocarbons, famously known as the CFCs, they are used as used to be used as refrigerants in ACs and refrigerators, etc. The reason why chlorofluorocarbons are dangerous is that the CFCs, once they are released into the atmosphere, they are used as refrigerants, and over time small leakages occur and these will come out into the atmosphere. So they start moving from the troposphere to higher levels, that is the stratosphere, and reach the regions where we have that protective ozone, O3 layer, which protects all of us from excessive exposure to UV rays from the sun, which causes, in case higher exposure to skin cancer, etc. Now, UV rays, once more UV rays get, start interacting with the CFCs, as far as the ozone layer is there, it acts as a filter. Once that filter is less effective or not there at all, that is why the term ozone hole came. Ozone hole is not exactly a hole, but the thickness of the ozone layer in that region, which was found out sometime in 1985 for the first time above the Antarctic, saying that the ozone layer is very thin and therefore the UV rays coming in would be more. Anyway, so the UV rays will react with these CFCs, degrade them, and they'll start releasing chlorines or chloride ions, which will in turn interact with the ozone layer and start breaking it up. Ozone is broken up into oxygen and nascent oxygen, and this goes on. Nascent oxygen will come in contact with the chlorine, and this goes on and on. Chlorine remains like that in the atmosphere, and this anyway in short will relate to thinning of the ozone layer and naturally heating up of the atmosphere. That is called global warming, and the ozone hole effect, then the greenhouse effect, all of them giving rise to global warming, which has its own impacts, which we all probably know or going to learn about, but not in the context of this particular question presently. So, chlorofluorocarbons, not the reason, which was not the pollutant which was released during the Bhopal gas tragedy. This is ruled out. Nor was it an accident, case of radioactive emissions, which can happen if some leakages from nuclear power plants or any other nuclear installations and operations happen. So the right choice is methyl isocyanate, which is a gas, a dangerous one, very, very poisonous. If you read the case study of the Bhopal gas tragedy, you will know and realize what it led to, the deaths of so many people, and caused serious conditions of ailments, which is still not yet solved today and carries from one generation to the next. And famously, methyl isocyanate came to be known in short as MIC. So please remember MIC with the Bhopal gas tragedy, and you'll not be able to make a mistake in making the right choice here. Students, I thought that gave you some example of what serious issues can happen when we don't take care of the quality of our air, or cause air pollution to increase, or cause the constants of air pollution to cause damage to our atmosphere and naturally the health of the living organisms on earth.
ಡಿಯರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ನೀವು ದಿವಿಗೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇದೇ ಥರ ನೂರಾರು ವೀಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿ.